Welcome to Vinyl Verdict, the podcast without a tagline. I'm one of your hosts, Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And today we're looking at The Now Now by Gorillaz.
Gorillaz.
The band that you want to put the in front of, but you can't. It's just Gorillaz. It is not the Gorillaz. And that bugs me immensely.
It's funny. You're right. You say that, but I typically have to stop myself from saying it's an album by the Gorillaz. I always have to say, no. It's by Gorillaz.
Yeah, it's by a pack of gorillas.
Yeah.
The G Unit.
The G Unit. That's it. So if you don't know, Gorillaz, the band, the British pop band created by the extremely talented Damon Albarn, the musician you have heard before, even if you haven't listened to Gorillaz, due to his work in bands like Blur, The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, or through his solo work. And let me tell you, I'm sure we will hear his name in future episodes from his work with other people in the rap industry, in rock and alt-rock, or just from his own solo stuff.
Oh, no, we're never going to talk about him again. This is his episode.
I don't even mention him in the episode again.
Wow.
That was the only mention.
I mean, I like Blur. They're okay.
Yeah, song 2
is great.
Yeah.
Oh, Boys and Girls. That's a great song, too.
Coffee and TV.
I don't know.
Give me coffee and TV.
We just got copyright striked right there.
Oh,
geez.
shit.
That was too accurate. They're going to think that was a playback.
Oh, no.
But Damon's not alone here. As his counterpart, Jamie Hewlett is a name you may not recognize, but his work is something probably more well known than Damon's himself, because he is the one who designed and created the Gorillaz themselves. And outside of that, he's most known for his work with the comics Tank Girl being his most prolific work.
Yeah.
Though he did do art with Judge Dredd, Doom Patrol, and many other comics in the late 80s and into the 90s.
Yeah, and it shows up in the art style of the Gorillaz as a band or as
100%.
a musical group, if you will.
Yeah, they're very sharp. It's very kind of punky.
Stylized.
It feels like it's all graffiti all the time, which very, very similar to Tank Girl with the post-apocalypse weird alt world where everything's just kind of grungy.
You know, it's interesting because the Gorillaz are like a virtual band, but that was really popular at one point.
Yeah, they were one of the first.
Yeah, like Prozac and them, and it's what's another one? Can you think of another band that doesn't actually exist as they're described on the album art?
Do you remember playing the Gorillaz game, the web browser game?
Oh, I remember
where you
that.
drive the Jeep.
Yeah, I do actually.
That was how I was pretty much introduced to Gorillaz. I think that came out pretty close to when the first album dropped in 2001.
It must have been because it's the one from the album art.
Yeah,
the Jeep from there.
You're driving the Jeep. Yeah, down this endless highway. I don't even know what happens.
I know, right? I'm trying to
driving the
think.
Jeep, and that's that.
But like Jamie said, they're definitely one of the most well-known animated bands out there, unless you're Canadian, in which case Prozac definitely takes the top spot. Which, funnily enough, both virtual bands started in 1998, but Prozac actually released an album in 1998, whereas the Gorillaz released in 2001.
You guys are killing me. You're calling them the Gorillaz every time.
Gorillaz?
I don't want to mix up with just any Gorillaz.
It's cool.
You know?
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
But we won't go too deep into Prozac, as I can guarantee I am choosing a Prozac album at some point. Can guarantee it.
Is it the one with Amabala Jarre on it?
God, I hope so.
Oh, it's so good.
It
Such
is.
a great
I
album.
have it coming in the mail. I'm very excited.
Oh, you have it on vinyl?
No way. You got
it?
Oh, shit.
Hell
Wow.
yeah.
Special Vinyl Verdict
Oh my
edition.
Oh, wow.
Can't wait.
And you may have seen members of the band in fan art or in their elaborate music videos, but in case you haven't, here's a breakdown. So there's 2D, the wiry, a lead singer, keyboard player with gap teeth representing.
Sideburns. It's got a weird haircut.
Yes, blue hair.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Maybe sideburns. Cannot confirm.
Here,
Looking
you
at
know
the
what?
album artwork, can confirm.
I've got humans where they're a little more
The
not
3D.
cartoony. Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on. Let's take a look at what they look like.
And then there's the big guy. What's the big guy's name?
Russell.
Russell.
The Russell Hobbs, the drummer, who can also change sizes, float, and is frequently possessed by Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Or
yeah.
Deltron.
Deltron, yeah. So the whole point of that is that...
Look at that.
Oh, we're looking at the album
Demon
art?
Days,
It could just be bangs. It's hard to tell.
I don't know. He's got look at the burns.
But this
over
also
there.
goes in we're looking at the Demon Days album right now because you can't see. My next point was they
This
look
is
like
in the video
NFTs.
podcast.
Look at the Demon Days album and tell me that's not a Bored Ape NFT.
Wow.
Wow.
Gorillaz, and then they're in that weird pose where you
should
can
sue.
easily switch something out.
So
they should sue for that.
100%.
Damon is the original NFT creator. You're right. He should sue a Bored Ape or whatever the hell they're called.
100%.
I don't think you can sue a Bored Ape, but you can sue for the Bored Ape.
Oh my god, I don't even want to get into fucking NFTs and who you sue.
Thank God they don't have
Legality of
NFTs.
it.
There's no Gorilla NFTs. But before we go too far, there's still 2 more band members other than Russell and 2D. There's Noodle, the fashion icon guitar player, who starts as a child and then is a robot, and then
we all started as
regular.
a child.
Wow.
Not all of us. Benjamin Button, Checkmate
Oh,
atheist.
Damn.
Then there's Murdoch, the eccentric/evil bass player, who is in jail for this album for some reason. So Murdoch gets replaced by Ace from Powerpuff Girls. So if you look, the album artwork doesn't have it on the front, but on the back you can see there's the 4 members, but instead of Murdoch, it's Ace from Powerpuff Girls, because they just knew the guy from Powerpuff Girls. They were a fan, and we're like, why not throw Murdoch in jail?
I didn't know that at all.
Very random, right?
Yeah.
So the Now is the 5th or 6th studio album by the Gorillaz, and it was released in 2018 as a follow-up to the somewhat controversial album Humans, released the year before in 2017. It was controversial because of the very heavy rap influence and less Gorillaz, quote-unquote, due to the high number of collaborators.
And it sucked ass.
Definitely do not agree. I thought it was fire.
I actually really like Humans,
Yeah.
but
Again, it'll kind of come in
Again,
a
I
bit
don't
later.
like.
Yeah.
I don't think I like Humans as a concept or Humans as an album.
yeah, fuck Humans.
I say 5th or 6th album because people debate whether The Fall is a full album, since it was recorded on an iPad by Damon Albarn while on a tour bus, and it was released the same year as Plastic Beach.
Well, did you look at the recording locations for this particular album?
Yeah, so it was recorded in 5 weeks.
Yeah, and it was like recorded in like hotel rooms.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. I have this in my notes. I was going to touch on later, but it's supposed to be like a road trip
It
album,
is.
right?
Yeah, sure.
He even credits the producer or someone who helped with a lot of it as being like the person who pretty much put the album together.
Okay, cool.
They just needed more stuff to sing because it had been like 7 years since the last album.
Yeah, they
Plastic
needed
Beach already
material-
had a big tour and
Yeah.
everything like that, so they needed more songs. So they created the Now
Yeah, they
in
needed like a
5 weeks.
material for the tour or whatever. Yeah.
In a break between the next leg of the tour. So they just needed something that had less features, so they didn't need to bring as many people or coordinate things for
That's why. Because
people on the album.
one of the big things I noticed was that there's not a lot of features.
Nope.
Like there's Snoop and that other
Just
guy
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on
George
Hollywood,
Benson.
Yeah.
and like that's kind of it, and that's kind of a complaint of mine. All
Yeah.
right, go.
Yeah, so they created it because they're going to this like festivals and stuff, and they needed more music, so they just created it for 4 legs, and they actually changed the tour name partway through that tour to the Now Tour because they
Ah,
released
sure.
that album
Okay, cool.
while they were on tour.
What was it originally?
It was probably like the Humans tour or
Humans
whatever,
Tour.
because
Oh.
it would have been the
Yeah.
year after that came out that they were on tour,
Right.
and only the beginning of that year. But yeah, they'd released it in June of that year when they'd written it pretty much entirely in February. And I
Well,
watched a lot of documentaries on it.
You say
which I
they,
thought-
but it's really just him.
It's
right?
mostly
him and the
Damon.
producer,
Yeah.
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 And again, he credits the producer doing most of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think he probably
the
wrote
producer
lyrics,
played
that
some
was
of
it.
the instruments on the album too, right?
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting album, and they just needed less guests. And again, with it being kind of controversial, following up the already controversial Humans, I thought it was odd that this one replaces Murdoch. It's not the first time they've ever taken one of the band members out. Plastic Beach, actually, if you care about lore, does not have Russell in it, the drummer. It just gets replaced by a drum machine. So I'm like, okay.
You could
it's
tell
something
it
they've done
too
before.
sometimes because like it's too on. I don't know what the word is. Too on the beat. Like like a human makes
It's-
mistakes, right?
There's a thing when you're making music at home digitally and you're doing the drum tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You can get programs to mix this for you automatically these days. I'm pretty sure.
GarageBand.
Yeah, sure. Well, no. But like when you do the drums specifically, it doesn't sound right when it's perfectly in place. And so what you have to do is nudge everything just a little bit here
Yeah, so
and
it's a
there
little
to make
bit
it
off. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a touch off, so it sounds more natural, like an
Yeah,
actual drummer.
in the pocket, if you will.
Ooh,
I believe that's a drum term. I don't know. I read it on the internet.
I'm dead silent because I have no idea, but it sounded like a term.
So when I think when they say it's in the pocket, it means is like it's in tune with the rest of the instrumentation, so that
cool.
it sounds like it's part of like it's intentional.
right.
Yeah, like a groove, if you will.
I don't care about Gorillaz lore at all.
No,
funny
not
enough.
even.
It's
not even-
cool.
It's interesting,
Mostly
yeah.
because I just want more music videos. I want more
Sure.
art. I have a Jamie Hewlett art book, and it's like
Oh,
extraordinary.
okay, cool.
They're coming out with the Netflix show, stuff like that. So I think we'll
I
get to
didn't- I didn't
see
hear about that.
There's a
quite a
Netflix
bit
show?
more. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the confirmed Netflix
Did
show.
anyone
coming.
ask for that?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it was me, but there's a Cuphead show. There's Gorilla
Yeah, I
shows. There's
saw
shows.
that.
coming out
Oh,
all
I
the
see
time.
that,
People
yeah,
love
yeah.
shows.
Humans asked for it.
Yeah. There's humans out.
Oh no.
People, NFT creators asked
Yeah.
for the Gorilla show. But from the title of this episode, it is one of the lesser known albums by the Gorillaz. It definitely is popular. You look at the Spotify
The plays,
and there's
yeah.
quite a few. But if I asked you if you'd listened to the album The Now, I can guarantee 8 out of 10 people, even if they like the Gorillaz, would be like, "What?"
I was talking to Nick at work, and he was saying that there's too many people named Nick at work.
I know. Yeah.
Um,
You're telling me.
and I was like, "Oh, we're talking." He's like, "Oh, what are you guys talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the Gorillaz album, the Now Now." He's like, "Which one was that one?" And I was like, "Oh, it was the one that came after, the one that people weren't, maybe jazzed about." And then it's between that and the one that no one's actually listened to. I don't even know what the 2020 album's called.
Well, first of all, that album is fantastic.
I haven't listened to it. I'm sorry.
So it's called Song Machine Season 1,
Yeah.
Strange Times.
Strange Times, yeah.
I hadn't heard about that one until today.
Yeah.
When I went to go look up to see like what people thought about this one, and I found, because I looked up a couple rankings, like Gorillaz albums ranked, and that's when it first caught my eye. But the funny thing is, just about everyone I looked at, and I only looked at like 3 lists, but they all put the Now Now at like the bottom of the list.
It's interesting because like it's not objectionable. Like we're gonna talk about more about the record as it goes on, but like, and I think people like sitting next to me here have like some stronger opinions than I do. Like it's fine. Like you could listen to it front to back and be like, that was music. I listened to it.
I don't think it's a bad album. I'll say that for now. I don't think it's a bad album. It's still Gorillaz.
Do we want to go full give it a number?
Maybe at the end we'll give it the
sure.
final verdict.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to me, just to kind of sum up, it's a return to classic Gorillaz after Humans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But because of that, it's a bit weaker.
It reminds me of their first album, sort of.
Man,
but with more like a dancey move to it. Like you could dance to this album.
It's definitely light. It's summery and light.
It's fun. You could tell that he enjoyed making
Jamie
it.
loves it.
Yeah.
That's all I've gotten from this.
It's funny because I actually went and re-listened to the self-titled album, and I was like, wow, this is what I want from Gorillaz.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this so different? I thought this was super different from the first album, though.
I don't know. So when I remember listening to the first album, I was in grade 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in middle school.
Yeah, and
They
then
didn't even have music back then.
Yeah, they didn't have music back then. But like, I hadn't heard the whole album. I just heard whatever they played on Much Music, and then I got like, I think Clint Eastwood appears on like either Big Shiny Tunes 5 or Big Shiny Tunes 6, which is like a compilation album that.
Classic. I forgot all about Big Shiny Tunes.
Yeah, that Much Music used to put.
Do Americans have that?
I don't know.
No, Much Music is very Canadian. I guess that would be like Now Music or whatever. Or
It's just a collection of popular songs you could buy on CDs, and that was like the CD to buy.
Well, so Big Shiny Tunes was the rock and like rock rap stuff, and then if you wanted like more dancey music, you got Much Dance, and that was their 2 compilations that they put out every year. So I don't know, but yeah, like I have like 4, 5, and 6, and it's just like that's music that I would remember like listening to when on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think My Way by Limp Bizkit is on the same album as Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz, and it's like, oh yeah, that's very much a stuff that came out in 2001 that I may have been interested in. I wasn't interested in Limp Bizkit back then, but I think I'm more interested in Limp Bizkit now because I think it's stupid. So,
but we might be interested in the Now. But to talk about the vinyl before we get into kind of more of the songs themselves, the vinyl itself is nothing super special. It's a single disc, no extra inserts or anything like that. The album art itself is neat, and the disc sleeve has some neat art, which is nice, but it's nothing crazy. It doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel like they went above and beyond to make something that's a must-buy for someone who's a fan of the album. And from what I remember, I don't believe there was anything super special. Like there wasn't a better one of it. It just kind of like came out. But again, before we get too far into the thoughts of the album, let's take one last listen to The Now Now by Gorillaz.
With a big fat chain on my neck. Little did they know, no sweat, so I dimmed out, rimmed out, and turn into your Idaho, Idaho. There's a beauty on the road.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about like this is a digitally recorded album. There's actually no benefit to listening to it on vinyl at all. There's no like characteristics of the recording that are improved by listening to it on vinyl.
That's great because I listened to the whole thing digitally this time. I
Yeah.
mean, prior to today.
Like they didn't record it to like analog tape or something, and then like it was recorded digitally. It's been transferred to an analog medium by listening to it on vinyl, but like there's no net benefit to doing it. It doesn't sound any
Other
better.
than just being cool.
Yeah, like it's cool to own it because the album art is like 15 times bigger, right?
I do. One thing I do love the album art for this one.
Yeah, sure.
I think
it's
it's like pretty different from some of their other album arts.
Sure.
But I
Absolutely.
like the stylistic, like pink and blue on it and everything, and then
Yes.
just chilling on a guitar on a stool. I think it really kind of shows that he was kind of alone for this one.
Do you think he was listening to a lot of Tame Impala when this album came out?
Yes.
Yeah, because it reminds me sort of like, what if Gorillaz did a Tame Impala album?
Yeah, it's actually the first album where 2D or Damon Albarn is the main guitar player.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's always just keyboard or whatever.
Yeah.
The whole idea is that it is 2D with his guitar, and I think a lot of that comes through with like the Tame Impala influence of like it's just one person making music and just putting their stuff into
what's
it.
his dick from Tame Impala? He's like he is
Kevin
the band.
something.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, he is the band, and then like when they go on tour, then they get like whomever.
Yeah.
But
It's funny because like I was trying to think of who this reminded me of because the whole time there'd be like every other track I'd be like, wow, this sounds like something. And I originally wrote down that this was kind of an ode to the 70s, and it reminded me of the Beatles, Pink Floyd, and David Bowie a lot. A lot of the like more relaxed tracks where he's just singing really airily, and
it
the
has
more
like
melancholic tracks felt a lot like that. It reminded me of like
not quite psychedelic.
Yeah, not
but
quite.
like spacey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think spacey is a really
Yeah.
good word for it. Actually, yeah,
I don't like this album.
You don't like it at all.
straight up, eh?
You
Not
paid
really.
a lot of money for this because the album costs like $40.
You know, it's better investment than any crypto. I paid, I think, $25 for it.
Oh, wow.
It's worth 40
That's
now.
it.
So
All right, there you go.
Yeah, because I think
we're
that's what
cashing
Amazon
out.
wants.
We're
for it.
retiring. It definitely, it is a Gorillaz album, but it kind of
Yeah.
feels like a compilation of songs that didn't make other albums. Like
interesting.
Trance feels like it's from Humans.
Okay.
Humility feels like it's from Plastic Beach.
Oh, shit, I like-
Sukai feels like it's from The Fall.
I really like Trans. Trans is a fun
Trans is super good.
Yeah.
None of it has any coercion together.
You know what?
It feels like you just put it on and it'll play and you'll be like, this was okay.
You know, it's funny. I read a couple reviews after I listened to it, and I was like, I have some thoughts. I wonder what other people thought about it. And they were like, this is the most cohesive Gorillaz album to date. And I was like, what? I was like,
Yeah, I
oh,
don't
okay,
think
cool,
so.
sure, I guess.
So I have two major notes that kind of touch on that. One is that I actually do think every track flows well
Yes.
into the next track. So it does like fit together in that sense.
Yeah, it's like a Dark Side of the Moon. Like
Yeah.
like you, if you listen to it out of sequence, it sounds kind of weird. right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But then my other one is that it's almost like a haunted funhouse and that it goes up and down like constantly.
The
Constantly.
tonal
Yeah.
shift. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
like it starts with Humility. Like basically every Gorillaz album opens with a banger. Like,
Yeah,
like
sure. Humility is a great song.
Humility is a great song.
It's all right.
Okay. Well, anyway, would
The
you?
worst feature ever.
Okay, sure. But would you argue
Who's
that
on
it's?
Humility?
George Benson plays guitar.
I don't know who
And that is not, there's no solid guitar
I
in
didn't
that.
even know that.
I don't know who George
I didn't
Benson
notice
is.
the
He's a
guitar
guitar
on
player.
that
Oh, okay.
at all. Would you still say it's like one of the better tracks on the album at least though?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Sure, okay.
It's a good summer song. I will put on my summer
It's
playlist
light.
and never
It's-
skip
It's
it.
very
Sure.
airy.
Yeah.
It is a very, Jack Black's in the music video, and I go, that makes sense
You
for this
could-
song.
Oh, I forgot about that. It's like
Oh,
the roller
sure.
It's
skating
like, yeah,
thing,
him
right?
roller skating,
Yeah.
Jack Black's there. I'm like, that makes sense.
Because I remember when that came out, and I was like, "Oh, cool! A new album. This music video is good.
That was the first song.
The
released.
the song is decent. I'm excited to see where this goes, especially after Humans, because like
Yeah.
I liked Humans, but it's still probably one of my least
Still
favorite
hate Humans.
Gorillaz albums. But yeah, it's really it is cohesive, but it's not at the same time, which is strange. Like
Yeah.
everything does flow into each other well, but then yeah, like I said, it's up and down totally
Yeah,
the
like
whole time.
the tone of the album shifts rapidly.
Yeah.
like some of the songs flow into each other, but one's like kind of fast and the other one's kind
I
of
would have
slow.
liked it
and-
if it switched at the sides. Because I thought that was going to happen because it ends with Idaho. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going slower. But then it's like, Lake Zurich is back up. And then it's like back.
Yeah.
Low
Well, think about it this way: because it's not recorded for being on vinyl. the track
Yeah, it could be
listing.
random.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah,
They
like,
just chose where to cut it.
yeah. It cuts where like 22 minutes is because that's basically where
Half the album.
that's half the album.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about basically what you can fit on one side of vinyl.
I hate Idaho. Hate is a strong word, but it's easily my least
It
favorite
reminds me of
track.
the state.
It doesn't make me feel anything.
Right? It's I wrote down that it's boring. I typically like the like weirder or more airy Gorillaz songs.
I like Kansas,
But this
the
one-
other is fine.
Kansas was okay. I
Yeah,
liked it a
it's
lot.
better than Idaho.
It's better than Idaho. I'll put it that way.
Shout out to Kansas.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this one reminded me of like Floyd and Bowie and the Beatles, but not in a good way. I don't know. There's just something about it that's. Not
It's like
good.
that joke in Wayne's World. It's like, oh, who's playing? It's the shitty Beatles. And it's like, oh, are they any good? And it's like, no, they suck. It's like, oh, so it's not just a clever name.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed some of these songs. Like my top 3 would be Sukai, and then Trans, then Magic City.
Trans is my
But
probably
again,
my
none of them feel like. If you asked me, if I saw Trans came up on my Spotify playlist, I'd be like, man, Humans was a good album. If Sukai came up, I'd be like, man, I should listen to The Fall again. Like
Oh,
again,
man.
just none of these really grab anything. But if I put the Now on, I'd be like, this is going to be a fine evening. Like,
Sure.
having friends over, being on the patio, having this on, everything is very inoffensive. Even Hollywood with Snoop Dogg, I didn't like it, but it's very inoffensive.
Yeah.
It's all very easy, good background
Yeah,
music.
like Snoop Dogg is on that album, but they didn't make good use of Snoop Dogg.
I think it's his first time on a Gorillaz album since self-titled too, isn't it?
No.
Oh, I don't
What
know.
else has he been on?
We'll Jamie fact check that.
Jamie fact check that. Yeah, let me go to the
Jamie,
tape
bring
on
that
this
up.
one.
But yeah, I do think that there were, like, Magic City I like. It reminds me of Humility, but I like the pacing better.
Magic
like they add
City.
more instruments about like 2 minutes
Yeah.
in, so it like kind of
Yeah.
starts to pick up. Humility just feels like the same thing the whole time. So I was like, oh, this is like a nicer pacing. It pops in my head every so often, and then Sukai kind of seems like really random, but Gorillaz' slow songs can really hit. And Damon Albarn, his solo stuff is very slow.
Yes.
And yet it just feels like I'm a big Damon Albarn fan, so like really hit it. But the sad song like Andromeda on Humans or Broken on Plastic Beach or whatever like that, those are some of their best songs
Yeah.
in my mind. And this kind of hits that same thing. And again, the pacing changes about halfway through. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a bop, absolute bop.
I don't know. It sort of reminded me of like the worst Radiohead album you ever listened to. Like what's the worst Radiohead album that you can think of?
I don't know. I don't listen to Radiohead.
I don't like Radiohead either, but like the one that has Fake Plastic Trees on it is their only good album, and the rest of them, like, people like OK Computer. I don't know what's on it because I don't like them.
Sure.
but I like Fake Plastic Trees.
I don't know.
But anyway, like this is like every other like Radiohead album to me. It's just like it exists.
Yeah. I don't hate it. Like, I think inoffensive is a really good way to put it. Like, I would play this if people were over.
Yeah,
but
it's good background music.
But I would probably, like, if I had to go and look through all my records and choose something to listen on like a day off,
No.
I would never pick this.
Which is
No.
why I picked this one. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I have this. I own this.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I own this, Plastic Beach, and Humans.
What
the
was-
3 most random.
What was
and
the one
Stranger.
that you originally chose, and then we changed it, or you changed it?
Oh, Amy Winehouse.
Oh, the Amy Winehouse one. Yeah,
Very different.
Yeah, very different choice. But like, I enjoyed this album more in 2022 than I enjoy Amy Winehouse's album. In
That is a hot
2022.
take. And I don't want to
Yeah.
say your opinion's wrong, but that is a hot
No,
take.
like I'm fully prepared to be wrong about that. But
I'm-
like, the time for me enjoying Amy Winehouse is when that album came out,
That's fair.
and like I've moved on from the shitty person or the
And
shitty life.
You know what? I might have liked this more in 2018 when I was younger and maybe wanted no substance in songs and just to have stuff on.
It was just fun. Yeah.
It was it's a fun album.
2018. Where was I in 2018?
Where were you in 2018?
When did this album come out in 2018?
June.
Okay, so I was getting ready to quit my job.
Nice.
Perfect. And you needed a nice summary album to
Yeah, to quit my job
Soothe
too.
all
I ended
of
up quitting.
your
Ended up
worries.
leaving in like 2018, but in like September, I think it was.
I'm surprised that you said that this one reminds you of the original, like, self-titled Gorillaz album.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't remind me of that at all.
it just reminds me of the way like it's simple, I don't know. Like that album has a lot going for it, the original album, and there's a lot better features on it. And I like Del the Funky Homo Sapien a lot.
Yeah,
he's great.
That's probably. I mean, just Gorillaz in general. One of the best things about them is they introduced me to Del and Doom.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Like two of my favorite hip hop artists of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like when I listen to Gorillaz like start to finish, first album to the last album, I find that it goes from like a more hip hop beats focused style into, and I think it's probably around Plastic Beach or The Fall where they started to transition into more of a like, I don't want to say club, but like a dance, and not quite new. What's the word? New disco, but like, I don't know. I feel
Electro
like
pop,
kind of. Yeah, I feel like they transitioned away from like the like more just straight up beats, hip hop kind of style into this like dancey kind of music, and
you can almost tell the influences on it because you could see what he was listening to at that time, and I think a lot of what he's influenced by is like whatever is not popular on the radio or something like that, but like maybe he's gone to a festival and the Gorillaz are there, and there was like this interesting group, because I think on the Humans tour they played a festival with Tame Impala. Tame Impala,
cool.
and
Wow,
they
that'd be fire.
yeah, that'd be an amazing show.
fire.
Wow.
like they weren't together, but like they
Sure.
were like like they were artists on there.
Yeah.
And I think like maybe something rubbed off there,
yeah, it's
or he
possible.
was just listening to whatever the Currents. Is that their good album?
Yep.
I mean, they have a few good albums, but yeah, Currents was really
I think
good.
that's the most
Yeah.
popular one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it comes down to as well as that since he's releasing so much music with so many different people, he's just specialized. Like he's
Totally.
releasing a lot of music under his own name now, which is a lot of the slower stuff. And then again, doing a bit more of the rock stuff with the Queen, the whatever, and the Who.
It's cool because I
Good Band of
never,
Queen,
I
so.
never heard about that band either.
Yeah,
like
so
I,
he's just releasing more.
because I listened to a lot of Blur and I've listened to a lot of Gorillaz, but that's all I know by Damon.
Yeah, like I won't go out there and tell you I'm a huge Blur fan, but I like.
Yeah,
You're wearing a Blur shirt right now.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I'm a huge fan of their shirts.
So why do you like, Jamie? Why do you like or you like this album, but you don't like Humans at all?
I think
'Cause I find them very similar.
like I haven't listened to Humans in a couple of years,
Sure.
and I especially didn't listen to it for this purpose of this podcast.
Sure.
But I think what I like about this one more is that it sounds more fun.
Yeah, it's funny because I did write fun track
Yeah.
for like a good 4 or 5 of these.
Yeah.
I wrote like funky or fun track, and then almost every time
I
next
didn't-
song is like sad track.
Yeah, like I don't like Humans is more rap influence.
Oh,
I
it's
guess.
so good.
Yeah. Like I
There
like
was,
rap,
yeah.
and like I'm not gonna like shit on like any of the people that were featured on it, but this one feels like more of an album produced by the band rather than produced by like people that were featured on the album. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
That's fair actually, because
there's very few features on this album.
like Gorillaz, like self-titled,
Yeah.
is almost like a Dell album.
Yeah,
in
sure.
a way.
Yeah, because he's on a
like-
lot of the tracks.
yeah.
Yeah, Human's a lot more hot and cold. He goes from
Yeah.
like, and I can see how it's divisive because like I like Hallelujah Money,
Oh yeah,
Sure.
and
Hallelujah
people
Money.
do not like that Hallelujah Money.
Yeah, it's great.
Like people don't, but and then I think about like Andromeda, Saturn Bars, Strobe Light, Moments, and I go, man, we got the power. I'm like, those are some of my
Yeah.
favorite Gorillaz songs. But then I'm looking at the track list now, and I'm like, there's a lot of interludes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs I don't remember at all. There's a lot of songs that are 2 minutes or less, which is a lot of change and stuff like that. And I can see why people don't like it. But the highs on Humans are way, way, way higher than the highs on the Now. Like again, being like
Sure. Yeah. I'll
I
Humility
agree.
being
Sure.
people's favorites. I go,
yeah.
it could be 2 minutes shorter and it'd be the same song.
Like if I was gonna say my favorite,
Yeah, what's your favorite track from this one?
well, it's probably Trans. I like Trans.
Sure.
Trans is
Yeah.
good.
It's kind of fun to listen to, and it is
You seen the music video?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's crazy. There's like claymation and weird like rubber dolls
Sure, I get
version
into
of
that.
it.
I gotta
Yeah.
watch that.
Hell yeah,
That's crazy.
I love claymation. But like, if I was gonna go back and think about like what Gorillaz song do I really like in 2022, I still like Dare. I think Dare is fun. Like I'm not listening to Gorillaz have a bad time.
That's true. You always do that laugh from Feel Good Inc.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like,
Do, do.
Like I like Feel Good Inc.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna listen to a song and I crank it up in my car and it comes on the radio, it would be like Dare or whatever.
Sure.
Like
yeah.
there's a radio station in Toronto that plays. I don't know how they describe it now. It used to be like indie music, and now they play whatever, like new rock or what the fuck they call it now. But that's the song that they play every so often, and when it comes on, like I'll crank that up. Like,
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Like
My favorite Gorillaz track of all time is probably November Has Come
Sure,
with Doom.
Sure,
Just
that's a good
classic Doom, real good beat,
song. Yeah.
kind of slow burner. Good track. What's your favorite Gorillaz song, Bell?
Probably Andromeda from Humans, but I think mostly it comes from the story behind it.
That's a hot
Because
take.
it's about his wife's mom dying.
Oh, I didn't
and
know
he's
that.
actually like crying in the recording of it because he's like so emotional singing about it and stuff
Oh,
like that.
shit.
You're
Wow.
hard
So it's, like,
into
really
the
good.
Gorillaz lore.
Oh, I like the Gorillaz a lot. I like Gorillaz in general
Yeah.
a lot. So like that's really good. Moments though is like one that makes me want to thrash. Like I'm turning that up. I listen to Gorillaz a lot in middle school. So like Dare
Yeah.
and Feel Good, I've had my time.
Totally.
So when they come on now, I'm ready to move past it because I've already listened to it on repeat for hours.
Sure. Yeah.
So now it's like these new ones. Obviously, the entirety of Plastic Beach is pretty good, but again, that would have been my peak listening time. So Humans, after a 7-year hiatus, came back and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was excited for it for that exact reason, and I never even really got into Plastic Beach all that much. I liked the first album and Demon Days, and then D-Sides, G-Sides, or whatever. But I almost skipped Plastic Beach entirely, and The Fall. I basically only listened to those once or twice and then moved on.
Yeah.
So I too was like very excited for Humans to come out.
A lot of those albums I didn't listen to until well after they came out.
Oh, yeah.
because it was just like it wasn't the kind of music I was into at the time.
Sure.
And then someone I worked with was just like, "Hey, have you heard the new Gorillaz album?" It's like, "Gorillaz? I haven't heard about them in years. Did they put out a new album? Is it any good?" And then
Probably it's Gorillaz.
yeah, right. And it's like well, around the same time I was thinking about Gorillaz again. Who put out a new album? Limp Bizkit put out Gold Cobra or whatever it was called.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was like a terrible album, and they
Yeah,
were
it's Limp Bizkit.
yeah, and it was like no, it's like really bad.
Oh shit.
And they were just like, hey, remember bands that came out around that? And I was like, oh, the Gorillaz and like Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park. And I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if they became popular all over again? It's like 2021 comes around and kids are like,
Yo, Riff
listening-
Chester.
yeah, it's like, oh man, Limp Bizkit is back and huge. Why? I don't know. It's like everything is cyclical, but some things shouldn't be cyclical. Like
Some
rap
things,
rock.
they've had their time.
3 Days Grace should never come
Hey,
back.
there's some good rap rock. I'm gonna go see Rage Against the Machine this summer. Maybe
That's fine.
Maybe.
They're really good.
Keep Weird.
Yeah, Omicron. Thanks.
I bought tickets to go see The Offspring, and they canceled the entire tour.
They sure did.
Yeah. Oh, you did buy those tickets?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, so originally what happened was when the occupancy limits went down, they canceled one of my 2 tickets,
Okay.
and I was like, "Wait, that's
That's weird. That sucks.
weird. Why would they do that?"
Yeah, you're in a pair. Who cares?
Yeah. And then they just canceled the entire tour, and I was
Oh.
like, "Oh, that's
That
more to my
sucks.
liking,
Yeah.
I guess."
Oh, it's better to be fully canceled than like lose half your ticket and have to just go alone.
Yeah, mostly because I don't know where I'm going in
Yeah.
Vancouver. So
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Anyway.
So my favorite track on the whole album was actually, I think, either Magic City or Lake Zurich. Is it Zurich or Zurich? Zurich, yeah. So, but the weird thing about Lake Zurich is it actually reminds me of the Avalanches.
Okay,
I don't
sure.
know- yeah, that like kind of electronic
Mhm.
band from Australia in like
Mhm.
2000.
I like them.
It really reminded me of that, and I thought it was a really great pickup after Idaho, because once again, this thing is just so up and down.
Yeah, that
like,
pacing is like a palate cleanser with
Yeah.
or with Idaho.
Yeah.
And then again, it just shoots back up with.
I didn't mind
Zurich.
Fireflies, the song that comes after.
Yeah,
Whole
Fireflies
City's
is
pretty good.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty melancholic, but I normally like their like sadder, slower tracks, but on this one I didn't like a lot of them. But I really did like Fireflies. It was one of the few more sad songs that I actually was like, yeah, this is great. Like start to finish, great track. I really liked his singing on it. I thought it just stood out as like really good Damon singing, and
Sure.
yeah, I thought it was good. What was your least favorite track? Because you liked the album,
Idaho.
Idaho, right? Yeah,
No, it's just there's nothing to it,
right.
and it's boring.
Bell.
Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
I had
sure.
expectations. Snoop Dogg, I pulled it up, was on Plastic Beach, so not his
Oh
first.
shit. Okay, yeah, he was on Plastic Beach.
But I don't know. I'm just not a fan. It's not super long. His portion is just pretty much him talking.
Totally.
And I was just like, every time it comes up is like when I'm aware I'm listening to the album.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
you can put on an album and just be listening to it and not notice. Hollywood comes on and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
I'm listening to the now.
here it is.
It's definitely the worst use of Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
He
Like
might as well not be on that track at all. He
feels like
adds,
an interlude.
he adds absolutely nothing to it.
I like the other guy way more. Who's the other guy that features on it?
I can't remember.
Oh, shut up.
Nameless man.
Yeah, I can't remember who it is, but I love how
Jamie Principal.
Yeah, I love how it's almost like a drop when he shows up because everything kind of turns down and then he just shows up and he's like, "I'm gonna go walk."
Yeah, he's like an MC too.
Up
He's
the
like
hills or
crazy
whatever.
people up your like he's
Yeah.
just randomly there.
I actually like really liked his portion of it. I like Snoop a lot. I used to be a big fan. He was the worst concert I've ever seen in my life.
Hell yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, don't. It's a whole story. That was such a bad show. It was here in Vancouver and it was just.
I saw him at
absolute-
Pemberton. It was pretty good.
You saw him at Pemberton. I saw him in Stanley Park, and it was when he was touring as Snoop Lion.
Oh no.
And I thought, cool, you know what? Here Comes the King is good. I like some reggae and stuff like that, and he'll probably play some of his hip hop, and like it'll be good. He played like entirely like Biggie and Tupac covers almost the whole time, and I was just incredibly confused, and it was just bad. I don't know how else to explain it, but anyway, I actually like Snoop on like original Gorillaz self-titled. I think he's great there. I think his part on this track is okay, but I can agree that like Hollywood in general just feels really off, and it doesn't fit the rest of the album. It feels like, to me, it actually kind of does fit, like with older Gorillaz stuff. It kind of reminds me of it. But like I said, I don't think that this album reminds me more of Humans, and I don't feel like it fits. Even though Humans is more rap centric, it just, I don't know. There's something about Hollywood that just doesn't fit on the album on whole.
Yeah, that song could have not been on the album. I would have enjoyed the album just as much.
Right? And when I think Gorillaz, I almost always think like hip hop and features.
Sure.
And that's the only song on the album that features a hip hop artist, at least, in any form of like rapping or anything. And I don't like it either. It's just not very good.
Yeah, and Bell, you just don't like this album in general, eh?
No,
And
like I said,
you paid money for this.
I did.
I didn't even pay money for this.
Yeah.
I have bought all the recent Gorillaz albums. So I have the last 4.
Oh wow.
So I need to go back and get the first 3. And then if you can get G-sides and D-sides are so expensive. But if I can get those.
Are there vinyl pressings of them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're
Nice.
just very expensive.
Yeah, no
but,
doubt.
I looked up to see if there was a special deluxe version of this because I was like, maybe I'm just wrong. It's weak. So it's like, even again, when we're looking at the vinyl portion of this, I have the Humans Deluxe one, which comes in a book. So the record is in the sleeve of the book, and then you have like an art book of all the human stuff.
Yeah.
The Song Machine one comes with the album itself and the singles on their own little LPs, and then artworks and everything like that, and nice big container. The Now is pretty much just the record itself, a little book, and some art, like sheets.
Wasn't
And,
the
like, that's it.
deluxe version of Humans, didn't it add like 6 extra tracks or something too? Like
Yeah,
it
it
was
is.
like a genuine like deluxe version of an album.
Super nice.
Where they're like, here's all the B-sides we just didn't fit.
And I got it early. So I listened to the album before it was released. I was like, this is badass.
Oh,
I'm looking at
nice.
the book, listening to
Yeah.
the album. And of course, I liked the album, so it was great. But just, again, looking at the vinyl portion of this, I was just like, man, I get it. They were on tour when they even released it. But it just really feels like filler. And maybe if you're a big fan of the Gorillaz, you'll find the album is fine with the lighter, inoffensive tone of the album. But it's definitely not a bad one to throw on. Like I said, when you're having company over, you're in the sun, it's very summery and fine to listen to, and you're safe to pick it up if you find it cheap. Like, I paid $25. I will buy almost any vinyl that I've listened to and enjoyed for $25,
and
not
that's
regret
a fairly reasonable price for a new album.
and that's Canadian.
Yeah.
$25 Canadian. So
Yeah.
that's like $17 US.
Yeah, because most albums are about 25 US, and then they end up being 30 or 40 Canadian. I find these days. 'Cause
Yeah, so
I
like
buy a lot of
40
releases.
Canadian, I don't know. And if you don't ambiently listen to music, like I'll just throw on an album and walk around or do stuff, it's good. If you don't do that and you like listen to music with headphones on and try to get the best, like Jamie said, it's not special in the way it's recorded to really give you the extra value. It's not on a heavy vinyl to get that extra detail anyways. It's not dual to get even more. It's just kind of
It's just
there.
on normal vinyl. It's not even on like 180 grain or whatever, or 180 gram.
I'd have to. I don't think it is.
Doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't feel like it at
feels
all.
thin? Okay.
So it's like
yeah. So there's especially nothing like I
Just-
wouldn't pay $40 for film
Yeah.
vinyl.
just put a couple songs in your summer playlist and keep the album tucked away. Again, if you're a big fan, the art's nice. Like this is one I'd probably actually display on my wall just because I
Yeah.
like the Gorillaz and the art is the most enticing of all of them because
I
Plastic
agree.
Beach is just like the house. The older ones, like Demon Days, is overplayed. You're gonna look like hipster trash if you have that on your wall. So it's like this at least is like really interesting.
I love Demon Days. I
It's
love
a
the
great
art.
album, but having that cover
You are
on your
hipster
wall,
trash.
I guess I am hipster
if you're gonna
trash.
move over your Joker posters to put up Demon Days, I don't know. But if we're giving these numbers, I don't know, like a 6,
Yeah,
Give it a
6 feels
6?
fair.
a 5.5, but I'm gonna go with a 6 because I do the songs I do really like. Like
It's
Magic
funny 'cause
City
our
comes
scale
to
is
my
out
head.
Yeah,
of
Magic City's
13,
good.
so like a 6 out of 13
Right?
is like,
And like I really like Sukai. I really like
I
Magic
just
City.
decided that our scale is out of 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I'd give it a
all
solid
right.
6 out of 13.
Give it a 6 out of 13. I was going to give it a. I agreed with the 6 out of 10. So now do I give it like a 7 out
I
of
know
13?
now I seem like really harsh that it's out
I
of
know.
13.
No. Well, I mean, even out of 13, that's a little under half. That's like a 4 out of 10.
I thought we were just
right?
doing would you buy it?
All
Would
right,
you
I
not
get-
buy it?
Yeah, I forgot what we were doing.
I give it 4 washing machines out of a box of plates.
That's pretty good.
So I would say we're going to do all vinyl based, which is I'm going to say if you find it on discount or in a bin somewhere,
You never will.
pick it up.
That's the problem. Like record stores around here, like, oh, it's a Gorillaz album. They'll put it in the full price bin.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
don't find it, don't buy it.
Have you
if
been?
you find
yeah,
it,
right?
buy it
Yeah.
at discount.
Have you been to like Sunrise Records here? So we don't have HMV. HMV got bought out by Sunrise Records when they got.
Is that even American?
No. HMV is like a global retailer,
Oh.
but HMV Canada got bought out by Sunrise Records, which was a retailer that had already gone out of business, but some guy brought it back. But like they're overpricing albums like $40 for like an album that you can go on Amazon and buy for $25.
The thing, though, there is that unless you have Prime, that Amazon $25 album is going to come with $12 shipping, and it turns into almost $40. So
Mhm.
that's why it's not just Sunrise. It's almost any brand new record store, at least in BC, or no, even on Ontario, because I went to a few shops when I visited my dad. If you buy a brand new record these days at the store for full price, it's usually going to be between $30 and $40. And yes, Amazon will be $25, and you get free Prime shipping. Sure, it's $25,
Like the last time I went out and bought brand new vinyl at a record store, like a store that just sells records, I paid $33
Yeah.
for a double LP, which I bought Ill Communication, which is
Yeah, nice. The only way I would ever buy this record is if I've bought every other Gorillaz record first, and D-sides, G-sides are too expensive, and I see this at a store like you guys said, and I'm like, well, I don't have the Now yet, and I'm not at my like
If I
4
had a-
record limit or whatever.
Yeah, if I had a gift certificate,
Sure.
and I was just like, oh, well, I don't really see anything I like, but there's this Gorillaz album.
The art's cool.
I got to use this gift certificate.
It's got some good tracks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't find the second Crackers album.
Exactly. But that is our thoughts on the Now
The
by
Now,
Gorillaz.
it's okay.
Yeah, now I don't know. Maybe just listen to something else. They
Yeah.
have, like I said, Song Machine, really good, really good. Season 2 is going to be coming soon. Like they're releasing music more often now.
Yeah, I was
but-
going to say, actually, before we started, I was talking to my buddy saying, yeah, we're going to talk about the Now and whatever. He's like, oh, I didn't like it, but I listened to a couple of they've got like 3 singles out right now or something, and they're all new, and I haven't listened to them yet personally, but we had basically the same thoughts of like, yeah, we like the original stuff a lot more, and he actually told me that he liked the new tracks a lot more. So I have a lot of excitement for the next album.
Meanwhile, the
that
EP.
comes out. I haven't heard them yet, but here's hoping. 'cause
They are good.
I do like I like Self-Titled and Demon Days the most, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give my final words are just give Humans a chance.
Sure.
It's an okay
Well,
album. I like
yeah.
Humans.
Give it a chance.
Humans, you could do worse.
Hmm.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we've learned from listening to the Now.
You could, yeah, like
Humans, not all that bad.
Yeah.
It's better than listening to the sounds of silence. Like the sounds of your four walls.
Yeah.
And
Water dripping.
you know what else is better than listening to just silence?
The Vinyl Verdict podcast.
The Vinyl Verdict. Now on Twitter, at Vinyl Verdict. We're not going to post,
Okay.
but you can follow it.
Hell yeah.
We'll just do what they do with the other podcasts and just post when the new thing comes out, maybe a hot take or two.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we end now, actually, though?
Have a great day. Thanks for listening.
Thanks
Bye.
for listening. See you later.
Miss you.
All right.
Hi, stranger. It's been a while. remember
Turns into a sex hotline. That's what plays directly
Hell
after
yeah.
us.
Remember
Okay, I'm
video
gonna
that
hit
was on
stop.
there?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay. You can look at my butt.